Hello, everyone. I'm Allison, and welcome to my weekly meltdowns coverage for the last time, not officially for Big Brother, but for Big Brother 24, because that sounded wrong. This is the finale recap. Guys, all six of us were sitting in we watched it live together. It was great. My neighbors see, this is such shit. When we started this season, my neighbors were doing weird shit, jackhammering, and now they're outside blinking the gosh damn freaking garage lights and being weird like Morse code and shit.
They're
But anyway, guys,
celebrating.
you're celebrating. Guys, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Linda Maxwell and Yelton and Joseph Boza in the chat. With me, as always, is Tyler, Andrew, Jackie, Kim Matina, and Dominic Capella. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. What an epic evening. What an epic speech. Spoiler, I got to say it because there are people in this world. If you don't know who won Big Brother 24, leave immediately. Okay, that's your warning. What a great winner speech for Taylor. That's the kind of speech everyone wants to make. I felt it in my bones. So, guys, where is everyone at? Who wants to start? Jackie, why don't you take the floor, Jackie? As a woman of color, how do you feel? I mean,
Lord.
I know this means a whole lot. So
I'm gonna try not to cry, so I have to do like all kind of self-defamation and jokes and stuff. So this is hella validating because we just lost. Well, wait, spoiler on a whole nother show because we just lost Mariah. So I'm just like, sorry, Andrew, you should have watched.
Shut up, Andrew.
I just said I didn't watch Survivor yet.
So it's hella validating. But yeah, there's so many emotions. We feel seen. Like, I love these shows. And to, even in Survivor, we only have V. And then now, I mean, we've had so many contestants on Big Brother. We've had Danielle, we've had Devon, we've had Bailey. There's so many of us. Azza, oh my God, I cried when Azza was done last year. And I thought the same thing was going to happen to Taylor this year. And if I could just give some tea, I'm pretty sure Monty knew what he was doing. And Monty had to, he did that. He was like, we had Xavier last year. I don't need to win this one, but you do. And it felt I feel hella seen. I feel hella validated. I'm like, I love these games, and to not see my face, but to literally see this girl who's from where I'm from. She's from Michigan. I'm from Michigan. And like, to see her, she wasn't a comp beast. She wasn't getting blood on her hands. She was social. And then just people thought she was a threat just because of who she was. And then to see her rise and become this amazing, asset to the show. Let's just say that she was an amazing asset to the show, even with her rises and falls. I'm proud of her. I see a lot of me in her. I see a lot of my gameplay in her. And it helps. It feels good. It feels effing good. So I'm done because I'm gonna keep crying all night. But
and to piggyback on that, and then I want to ask Tyler a specific question, but to piggyback on that one, and it's also good this year because there's not like the cookout excuse, right? Like, that didn't exist this year. She won this one on her own, right? And to see that. But Tyler, I want to ask you, and because hearing the emotions from Jackie, is there any similarity to you back when like Andy won, right? Like, did you have any form of emotion in that? And if I'm stepping a line, please let me know.
No, this is a good question. So when Andy won Big Brother 15, he was the first openly gay winner that Big Brother has seen. But I feel like the branding for like Andy as a player, as like rat floater, like the energy feels so different. Like, tonight feels so triumphant, where like Big Brother 15 was like, all right, like Andy wins, whatever. Like, they didn't even like show him in the edit for like any of the masterful things that he did on his season, right? But this season was like totally the opposite. Like, this season was the season of Taylor effing Hale. From day one to tonight, like, I have chills. Like, the you could not have written a better story for the season in terms of how it started, all of the shitty things that she had to endure from so many people that didn't even get asked a question tonight. Like, that's how much karma slapped you in the ass. And you just made a total fool of yourself, right? But like, Taylor was just so triumphant, handled everything with such grace, like, could not ask for a better, like, feel-good story. for the season. And not only that, but this is a winner that didn't rely on comp wins. That's been such a thing in modern Big Brother. And I'm so glad that she put that in her speech tonight, saying that choose me as progress for the future of this game. Not every winner has to be this like alpha bro, like Cody, Xavier, Monty, that like wins all these comps and like bros down to the end, right? Choose me as progress for the future of this game. I get chills when she said that. Like, I love it so much. I'm not a shield, I'm a sword. Like, I think that will go down in like Big Brother like history quotes. She's the most winningest winner, winning $800,000 in a single season. It was her victory lap tonight, and I think she more than earned it for sure.
I was kind of surprised that she got. I'm not surprised she got America's favorite. I 100% am behind that. But don't they usually bypass the winner and give it to the second? Or
so Dom brought this up. Go ahead. Dom brought this up.
Yeah, they basically changed that rule in BB20. So basically, of course, the conspiracy theory was just because Alistair Gardner was so over the moon with Tyler, she just wanted him to be eligible for everything. So they started America's favorite juror during the original All-Star. So it was the first juror until third place. That was who was eligible. Then I think 15 is maybe when they did expand it to the pre-jury boots were also eligible for America's play. It became America's favorite player instead of America's favorite juror. And then 20 when they said, okay, screw it, first and second place are also eligible. So that's 20s when they started everyone's up for it.
And I personally have no problem that Taylor won. I'm not sure that I'm crazy about that rule. I kind of like the fact that someone else gets a chance to win some money from that standpoint. Like, that's kind of, to me, it's like that, like Taylor said, like a miscongeniality kind of prize. And to see both win, again, nothing against Taylor winning it. I think there should be something like, Taylor won the vote, but we go to the second place winner because of that. Like, I think she should have been recognized as America's favorite player, but I personally think the award should go to second place in any season, not this one specifically.
Yeah, I was always fine with first and second place not being eligible, and the pre-jury booth probably would never have won anyway. But again, since they already changed the rule, 4 seasons ago. If after they had changed the rule for Tyler, if they changed it back so that Taylor couldn't get it, Twitter would be very unhappy right now.
Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, I agree, Andrew. I don't think it should be a thing, and I think that Michael probably deserved to get a little more roses tonight because he broke another like Big Brother record that hasn't been touched since. I think like 19 years or something like crazy, or 18 years. I don't know. I would have to do the math, but it's been a long damn time since Janelle shattered that record in Big Brother 7. So to see that happen this season, and he wasn't even like close to the final 3 either. So he still had plenty of time to like even go further in that record and everything. I just thought he should have gotten some like more recognition. I felt like we talked more about him lying about his career tonight. Than his comp wins and how much of a story that was for this season. If anything, Andrew, like that is like that made me proud as like a gay man myself, like because the gay men that they cast on Big Brother are always this like Frankie Grande, like super feminine, like flamboyant, like nothing wrong with that, but like it's just a very like saturated stereotype. And to see Michael come in and be like the physical comp beast of the season was really impressive to me. And I thought deserved a little more praise tonight.
I feel like the other story in the AFP, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I don't want to spend time on any of the negative, but the fact that Kyle still was in that top 3 shows that we won a battle, but the war is not over, right?
Yeah, hear that right?
How the hell did he get in the final 3, in the top 3?
I was worried.
His TikTok followers.
I was worried that like
I think it wasn't. I think it wasn't so much a vote for Kyle as I think it was the people that were voting against Taylor. If I'm being honest, and maybe I'm wrong on that, but they were trying to prove a point because you still have people, and so I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I don't want to take that away from Taylor. But I think it's good to point out that the fact that he was 3rd of America's favorite player in this season. Turner should have been above him, hands down.
Oh my gosh.
That scenario.
Turner and Joseph both, I think, should have been ahead.
Just talk about how good Joseph looked this evening on everything he touched.
He
from
did
the
look
jury
really-
segment to the final HOH thing. Like Tyler and I were both like, we couldn't
know what?
talk during any. I mean,
It wasn't America. It was the Russians that gave Kyle the vote.
it could have been.
I was gonna say, I think Daniel probably just made a whole bunch of like fake email addresses, and that was his full-time job for the past week was voting for Kyle. Yeah, I don't. I just yeah. It is what it is. Like, I think you're right. Like, I think it's like votes against like Taylor. People are just stupid. You know, that's all I have to say about it.
I
But
have to
moving
say
away
this
from that-
season,
go ahead, Allison.
yeah, I was just going to say this season did a complete 180 for me. I was not happy in the beginning, but I think it's because the four people that were eliminated first, once they got out of the house, the pre-jury, I think is when it really started getting interesting, because then the people that are left in the house, the leftovers, no pun intended, would have to start eating each other alive. And it's like I tell anyone who's watching Big Brother, it does start slow and things don't always pan because there's still
Unless Frenchie's HOH.
yeah, less Frenchie's HOH. But you know, I mean, I wonder how many people voted for Pooch for America's favorite player. Because it's funny to me that we include everyone in the America's favorite player, like a participation trophy. No. If you didn't make it to jury, you don't get to be America's favorite player, because Pooch said it tonight. He thought he was going to have to buy his own damn ticket. Which I
That
thought
was
was funny.
hilarious.
I mean, like,
He was so far gone.
if there's any like pre-jury that like I was okay with not hearing from, like literally at all, it's this one. Like, I didn't really care to hear from any of them. So I don't know.
I was okay hearing from Amira. I'm a huge Amira fan, and I'd love to see her play again in the future.
I just want to highlight Haley Vic 17. You're making some really good comments and points in the chat. She really is. Taylor to be the first Black woman winner, and what happened to her in the game to get there, that is reality for Black women in America. And you know, I'm not a Black woman, so I can't really comment on this. But yes, I mean, she was treated shitty. She was treated so bad. And I think I posted on Twitter a couple of times, this is the face of a woman that's being tortured for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
You know?
And, you know, I heard a couple people make the comments to me this weekend that Taylor shouldn't have even been here because if Paloma doesn't quit, she doesn't. That's not true. With the twist that round, she could have won the comp. So nobody can truly make that claim.
So where do we go from here, right? Like, I have like a bunch of like bullet points for like overall thoughts about the season if we want to like bounce around just like talking about a few things. I will say to double down, we were just talking about Turner and how like impressed we were with his game and stuff like that. I have to agree, like all of us like wrote him off pretty hard like preseason in like the first like few weeks of the game, but he was actually the one to kind of set the Taylor redemption story in the front seat for the season.
Yeah.
He was the one that called out all of the bad behavior in that veto speech, like the second week or something like that. But I think about like what the season would have been like if Turner didn't take such a public stand. And of course he had like some instances this season where his judgment was like a little questionable. Like I'm talking about like the Dyer Fest in particular. But I just I thought Turner was a pretty good, decent player, and definitely superseded my expectations of him. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that I'm sorry, I'm going to skip everyone because I've got to dip out a little bit earlier than everyone else. So I just want to say I completely closed the book on Turner early. I said this guy's going to skate by just long enough to really piss me off by just existing. And yeah, okay, I bit off more I could chew with him. Okay, that's the thing. You know, we kind of judge these people off what they give us at the beginning. And then it's always the same. It's like you say you're going to do one, you don't know what you're going to do until you're under that kind of stress in the Big Brother house, and your whole game could change from what you thought you were going to do. When you're around 15 other people, it can be intimidating, it can be scary. It's what you do in that situation, you know, to be seen and noticed without, you know, being too aggressive or not being social enough. I feel like the pre-jury was not necessary. I'm sorry, I'm not an Amira fan. I'm not a Nicole fan. She didn't get asked a question. Oh, if there was anybody I liked at all, it was Daniel to an extent, just because he was so freaking ridiculous with his pettiness. It just was funny. It was comical. It's like everyone else was just, but he was just comical because he was so committed to what he thought was the cause. You know, and there was no cause. Okay, y'all are being assholes. And look, you guys did it. You did it. You were rude. You bullied somebody, and you did it. So, you know, I kind of wish that had been nailed a little bit more by Julie. But, you know, I don't go to Julie Chen Moonves for the hard hitting journalist questions. This isn't. She's no Lester Holt, okay, who I depend on every night at 5:30 for my NBC nightly news. Okay, I believe anything that man says. He needs to be the new host of Big Brother, or at least ask the questions at the end of the show. I don't know what was going on with Dr. Will, but he needs to, like, you know, let's be a little bit
Okay,
more.
wait, I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I think it's time to retire Dr. Will as the host of the roundtable.
I don't agree.
Yeah, we just want him to go back to roasting.
We just want him to go back to going, Kyle, nobody wants to hear it. Just shush.
It's not going to happen. Like this was
but
the most like filtered, like edited, cut together, like final like panel discussion I think we've ever seen. And I guarantee you only maybe like 2 of the jurors even know who Dr. Will is. So like, what's the point of having him if you're not going to have his personality or like have anybody even recognize like the legend that they're talking to, right?
You know, Tyler,
Alyssa doesn't know who he is.
As much as I don't disagree with that statement, I want to go back to your original question and give my response to it real quick about Turner.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. If I look at this, and I'm looking at the boot order in order here, it's not just Turner. After week 1, I wouldn't have put Taylor in the end. I wouldn't have put Turner in the end. I wouldn't have put Brittany in the end. I wouldn't have put Michael as deep as he was after week 1, right? From the backlash we were seeing on Kyle, I wouldn't have put Kyle in a jury situation. Terrence, I mean, like, I almost would have had a lot of the jury and the pre-jury flipped just from week 1 point of views. So I don't think it's just Turner. I think that's a great example. Yes, I thought he was a pre-jury boot, but a lot of this cast, I truly thought would have gone in almost a flip-flopped order.
And it very easily could have.
I'm reading the comments. I apologize. I'm paying attention to the fans.
But I've got to say is it very easily could have. I agree with you, Andrew, based on who was on the block at the beginning, who was potentially being voted out. In theory, Taylor, you're right, Michael, Brittany, Turner after his speech. You're right. There's poor Michael, who lets somebody with that many comp wins get that deep in the game. But he played an amazing game and deserved to get that deep. But in my opinion, thank God that they got to jury and got to be final 4 and 3 and 2. Because I could not have lasted the season if I actually had to watch Daniel and Nicole and Amira and
Pooch.
Like Pooch is the least offensive of all of them, and he's still Pooch. I cannot imagine after 24 years of Big Brother, of 24 years of live feeds. I don't think I could have lasted the rest of the season. Hear them talk about people after they were out of the house. That the shit they were saying with people still in the house, I can't even imagine how they would have blamed Monty. Taylor, especially Taylor. Brittany, my God, they would have pinned World War II on her if they had the opportunity. But thank God they were not there. I don't think Taylor herself saved the season. I think that Taylor was instrumental in bringing a full circle to the season. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I would not want to deal with Taylor's karma. The girl has got the power.
It's such a redemption arc. I'm amazed how we got here. You know, even in the middle of the season, you know, when things were, I still never would have thought we would have made it this far with her in the final two, only because she kept getting put on the block and all, you know, and all of that. Like I just kept thinking, man, this will be epic. It will be historic. It'll be legendary if she makes it to the final two. And it just seems like everything that happened and the stars aligned, and it happened. And you know, I don't like that she got bullied, and I don't like, you know, there are people out there that have said, you know, well, she wouldn't have made it if she hadn't gotten bullied. I don't think that's quite accurate. Being bullied doesn't help you win HOH or comps or anything. It may motivate you a little bit or take away or subtract, depends on the kind of headspace you're in. But she won. And I think this is historic. This is a big deal for a lot of people, a lot of young girls, a lot of African-American young girls. We are in a new day and age, a new time, and I am all for it. I support it 100%, and I could not be more excited. I just I hate that she was treated the way she was treated. And you know, they kind of their Thursday night show with the conversation between her and Monty, when she was saying, oh no, I was just treating you that way to make it look like we weren't that close. That was the only time I didn't believe what she was saying. That was the only time I was kind of like, no, girl, I've been where you are. You get the F out my bed. Leave my have fun. Give me a minute. Y'all get out of here all comfortable in my room. I earned this. You didn't. I need some space. Just be honest about it. That was the only time I kind of felt like, you're kind of full of shit. But other than that, I mean, she didn't really do or say anything that wasn't, here you go. This is what you get. You see what you get. You know? And it was kind of refreshing to see that.
Can I answer? Do you mind if I answer Joseph Bozo over here on the side? Yes. Joseph. So you've brought it up a number of times in here, saying that having media interviewing the jury, you felt may have influenced the jury. I 100% disagree with you, because the questions that were asked, if you look at EW, the questions that were asked were very neutral questions, okay? And they were asked as individuals. So I don't, and there was no follow-up to those questions. If there had been follow-up, then I would agree with you, but there was no follow-up. Here's the question, period. And even coming into before Brittany joined the jury, okay, we all knew Brittany was going to vote for Taylor. Everyone made it very clear. Jasmine, Indy, both made it very clear they would vote for Taylor. Alyssa did. Michael did. So right there, she had the win. So I do not believe that the media questions had any influence on the vote at all. None. I think her speech might have taken it from a 5-4 that Tyler had thought maybe earlier that it would be close like that. I think that her speech took it from 5-4 to an 8-1, because without a doubt, probably the best final two speech, not just what she was saying, but how she said it with so much passion.
Yeah.
So
and we got a question from Nihar, like basically.
Joseph, we're not attacking you. Really quick, we're not attacking you.
Never.
I just, because he's hardcore, loves us, and we love him. And listen, we all agree to disagree. We all have our and things we want to say, and we're all welcome to it. Now, I don't want all of us to think this and say the same thing, so we're good. You're totally good.
100%. You were not disrespectful at all. No. You said it a few times, and I didn't think it was fair to at least give my 2 cents worth, because let's face it, I don't keep my yap shut very often. So, but no, you were not disrespectful about it. I just disagree on the sentiment that that the media influenced it, because I don't think they did.
I do tend to think that this was the best final speech I think we've ever heard in Big Brother history. Of course, like I need some like time removed from it, so it's not just like recency bias talking.
Yeah.
But I'm really struggling to think of a better example. Maybe like Kevin from Big Brother Canada 5. But that was like a blowout to begin with. Like
God,
that didn't like
dang
it
it.
didn't need to be the case.
Tyler.
Well, I'm
Dude,
saying
we
that
didn't
because
even
people
make
are
it
more
to
passionate
30,
in
so
Big
we're
Brother
good.
Canada.
We didn't make it to
Um,
30. I'm not
No,
impressed.
but truly, like there's just like no energy left in the room for any like Big Brother US season to have a speech as like magnetizing and charismatic as that. So I don't know, like unless like I mean maybe like Dan in Big Brother 10, but like I don't even think that was like anything near as much of like a hype as Taylor's was tonight. And Dan was like known for being like a hype man as like a football coach. I don't know. I definitely think probably the best speech in Big Brother history.
Here's the
We
thing.
I
need
think Kevin and BB Can.
That's
Thanks,
what I said.
Cam.
Also, like,
Sorry. Kevin and BB Can was very, very passionate. And Taylor's emulated a lot of what he said with compliments to individuals on the jury without it being looking like, hey, I'm sucking up to everybody. Kevin didn't do that. Neither did Taylor.
My nephew is
Kevin
on
was-
to you people with the Big
Kevin
Brother
was
references, by the way.
very, very passionate about what he was saying. So I would say maybe the closest to what we saw from Taylor was Kevin.
So as a man that literally judges and teaches how to give these sorts of speeches for a living, that's literally my job. I think that it was a perfect combination of persuasion and game and advocacy. It never felt over advocate, but it never felt over gamey. And I will even go as far as to say is I think she made the point that the Cookout tried to make better this year than they even did last year. And they had 6 people pull it off, right? So like I feel like it was a perfect speech to the jurors, but it was a perfect speech to America and to the world at the same time. That was like, I don't even care about the 750. I care about the respect of me as an individual, as a woman, as a person of color. But it never felt overdone and over preachy and over attacking. It was done with grace. It was done with poise. I think she went over the time limit and CBS let her keep going, which hats off to CBS for doing something right. And I overall think the only thing from the game portion that kind of made me like, should she have mentioned the Kyle situation at that specific point was the only thing that I was like, that might bring back just a little bad blood that shouldn't be in this moment for her, right? But as a person that, like I said, I do this all the time, it would win a national OO, sure.
We need some Big Brother fan art of Taylor is sort of like a Wonder Woman get up, like wielding a sword. I'm sure that'll be on Twitter and Instagram within the next 24 hours. And back to Tyler's original question about Turner, like when he won us over, maybe he lost us. I don't do stand cards, but he definitely would have lost my stand card during Dire Fest when he sort of went all in on Kyle and Alyssa. Because I'd love to know Kim's opinion of this, because she's probably more of a master strategist than I am. I just never understand when someone goes,
"Oh, don't inflate that ego, God."
No.
See what you did, Dominic.
I'll never understand when someone says,
"Flip that hair, girl. Flip it. Flip that hair."
I want to be in a 3-person alliance with 2 people who are having sex, so I will always be expendable to them. I've just never understood that mindset.
Wait, you said 2 people having what?
Sex.
Okay, so me and Kim could be your final 2. Cool.
Awesome. Because we're safe. No, I don't think it has to do with
How?
I think, God, Andrew, you're going to get, Courtney, where are you? You're going to get in so much trouble. Anyway, at that point, though, remember, there were 10 people still in the game. So by saving 2, you've got 2 people that'll save you, right? And lucky for Kyle at that point, we didn't know, or they didn't know how bad the sex was. And Alyssa actually never came out and told anybody. But if they had made him into a 10-second wonder, I think that, yeah. Anyway, so you don't want to eliminate people who will be with you. He drew people in with him, knowing they're going back in the house. Remember, we knew what was going on in the house. They did not. So, so you're playing the unknown with what you know. I did not want Joseph to leave, but you would be keeping one person instead of two people if he had made that move. Yeah.
How do we feel about like the whole like split house twist as like a whole? Because I feel like that changed like the rest of the season and really shook up the game. And I'm pretty thumbs up for it. Like I'm pretty thumbs down on like the conditions that they had to live in. It is what it is, but I don't know. Like I think that the house at that time needed that split, needed that fracture, and I think Kyle betraying the leftovers for Alyssa and just totally like selling Joseph down the river, I think is like one of like the standout moments of the season for me. Just because like he threw away, like Kyle was in such a good position going into that week. Everybody was saying Kyle's playing great. Kyle's playing such a great social game. Too. Like he's the one to beat. But then like the Dire Fest happened, and I think that week is when I predicted on this show that Monty was going to be the winner of the season. And Kim, I think you were on the show with me when I said that.
I was.
And I just feel like it changed like the whole course of the rest of the season. I mean, that was the week that like Michael and Brittany really teamed up with Taylor and Monty, which kind of led like the strategy, the decision making for the rest of the season, right? I don't know. What do you guys think about that twist overall? Like, should they try it again?
So I'm probably going to get booed off by most of America here, and that's okay. I would be okay if that was the new double going forward and we got rid of the live night completely. And here's why. A couple reasons on that. One, it's time to change the system. And two, I love the live hour, but we miss so much of the true gameplay that goes behind that hour from an editing purpose and a lack of live feeds and from a lack of those kind of things. And to me, Big Brother has always been a game of power, not numbers. So anytime you can shift those numbers and give that break, I think it's great. So I would be okay if we even said, hey, we're not going to do live night double evictions anymore. We're going to go into this new format as the double eviction going forward. I would be okay with it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Actually, I really love the twist. The only thing I didn't like about the twist, I did not like it being a schoolyard pick because I think it allowed them to set up teams. Whereas if it had been a random draw or spin the wheel, I mean, they could have put Terrence and Monty on the wheel of misfortune and spun it until they had 5 on each team. So that was the only thing I did not like about it. Other than that, I was good with it.
I also agree with Rory's comment. I think it should have been earlier.
Yeah, Andrew, I agree with like the whole like as exciting as like, and I think this was probably one of the best double evictions I think we've ever seen in Big Brother US history. What a moment that was, right? For the season and just like Big Brother as a whole. But imagine like seeing Michael like lose his grip on the season like for an entire week and like seeing him and Brittany having to scramble. Like you saw how desperate Michael was in that moment, like pleading with people and seeing the panic in his eyes. If that was like a whole week that we got to watch on the feeds, like who knows like what shit he could have like blown up and like tanked people's games and stuff like that on his way out if he really had the proper time to do so. Yeah, or survive. That is very true. Very, very true, Andrew.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. For anybody wondering if maybe are Brittany and Michael going to make up, is he going to be able to explain to her?
100%.
The answer is 100% yes. I talked to Hayden as early as like 2 hours before the show, 3 hours before the show. And Hayden and Brittany's husband shared an Uber from the airport. Their flights came in about the same time on Friday. They shared an Uber, and they're going to be just fine. Brittany just does not know what the thought process was behind what he was saying and why he was throwing her, other than the fact she was on the block against him and he was doing everything he could to stay in the game. And Steven totally understands that and has told Hayden he will explain it to him, to her.
Let's see, what else do we have here?
And yes, I agree with you, Allison. Netta's double eviction is the best eviction ever.
That was me that wrote that.
But, that was you that did.
Oh yeah, don't give me credit.
And you will.
God bless America.
I didn't say it. I didn't mention it.
Okay,
But that's three references overall.
Guys. My husband is leaving for a few weeks. I think y'all knew this was coming. I only have one thing to say.
I love it.
Bye, Michael Allison.
That was great. Well done, Allison.
Well played.
I thought she was going to say Helen was pushed right before she.
No, that was very well played, Allison.
I think she's going to let Dom join that final two.
Let's see. I'm just like looking at my notes, seeing if there's anything else to really talk about. I mean, how do we feel about like this season compared to like other modern Big Brother seasons? So like Big Brother 16 and on, I would say. Where does this fall? Because I have like mixed feelings about it. Like I think it was a very entertaining season. I don't think the cast was all that likable. But I think like gameplay wise, it really kept us on our toes the whole season, which I really enjoyed. We don't really get that in Big Brother US. It was a very exciting finale, which I appreciated as well. We really didn't know if Taylor was going to even get to final two. Actually, fun fact, somebody mentioned this in the chat earlier. Taylor is now the second Big Brother winner to not win part 1 or part 2 and be taken in whoever won part 3. The only other winner that's done that is Maggie in Big Brother 6. So that's also a very impressive stat in my opinion. But, what do you guys think about like where, if you guys had to like rank the seasons, like is this like a top tier season, mid tier, low tier? What do you guys think?
You're just talking about 16 on?
Yeah, because like I don't know, like I can't really compare like anything pre Big Brother 16 to now. In my opinion, you know what I mean?
Usually need a little time to sort of be able to look at the season, in retrospect after the recency bias has passed. But for me, I definitely liked it better than 18. I didn't like 18 at all. Better than 19, better than 21, better than 22. So it's better than all of those for me. And so where would everything else would just be jumbled together? It would sort of vary how I would rank them, but it's definitely for me better than those 4.
I think I would put it in my top 2 post 15, simply because I know people were blah, blah, blah. There's no strategy in this game. Michael strategized out his ass. He was so good, just that he wasn't super in your face about it. Mm-hmm. Taylor was much more strategic than she was giving herself credit for, because she was having to zig and zag and maneuver. Mm-hmm. Brittany was incredibly strategic. She just did not execute the strategies very well. But when she camera talked, or her talks with Michael, incredibly strategic. Monty, I think, was probably the least strategic of the final 6. Terrence had no strategy. Indy had no strategy. But taking out those 2, even with the pre-jurors, as much as I disliked them, Nicole had a lot of strategy. Daniel had a lot of strategy going on, and so did Amira. Was really very I don't want to say mastermind. I think she over manipulated her strategy, but she was incredible. Pooch was clueless, but who knows? We may have seen more from him later on. But anyway, I think there was a ton of strategy. I think there was a ton of entertainment. And really, even in the comps, how many of those comps were so close? 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 2 answers, a tie in there. That, I think, pulled together as a whole makes a very good season. I think the cherry on the sundae is the win.
Hot take.
Hot take.
I will say from 16 to now, number one. And here's why. I think I agree, Tyler. Like, I don't think there wasn't somebody that you just loved in the cast until Taylor kind of just got this underdog story, right? But I'm going to even take that step further. I think the twists were better thought out this year. I think the competitions were better this year, except the jewelry in the beginning. I think like the fact that we didn't have this America gets to give someone a power and like that aspect.
No America's vote this season.
Well, at the very beginning there was the beginning, the very first round there was when Brittany won that. But I think the twists were effective. I think the production value was great. I think the winner was great. I think this was how many times were we really not sure what we were going to get going into a live night and going into a finale and to get that. I can't remember a season where I've had as many of those moments as this one specifically here. So not even just taking the cast and the gameplay, but from a production standpoint, a twist standpoint, from everything as a whole, from 16 to 24, this is going to be hard to find one that overall package was better.
And now that the season is over, Brittany finally gets to find out that she won the America's Vote week 1 because they never told her.
They never told her. They never told anybody. I'll bet they didn't tell them in jury either. So she's probably going to find that out tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure her husband will tell her first.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to see Joseph reading his sister's text messages to him. She text messaged him every single day during the season about the shit that was going on in the house. And so he's going to get his phone back tonight or tomorrow morning. It'll be tonight. And he's going to see this string of like 100 text messages from his sister laying out all the shit of the season. And I can't wait. And her name is Jasmine, by the way. And I think she should be on BB25.
Hey, Kim, there is something I need you to get back. Information. I need a reaction. I need you to get and report back. I want to know Michael's reaction when his first HOH basket wasn't shown on TV.
Yeah. Well, and I'll guarantee you 100% he's going to hear about that. If not tonight, tomorrow. I think tonight's more about the celebration of the season for them. And I know Hayden said they were, there's a small dinner get together for all the BB24 players, but then they're all going to Oz's party. They're going over to Rocco's and over in WeHo. And so I think it'll be tomorrow when Hayden fills him in on that.
But I want that reaction.
Yeah. And if I go back up, okay, so Live to Give, the Survivor live reality game that I played in June, premieres on November 20th. And they actually show it in a movie theater up there in Rogers, Minnesota every Sunday night when they drop it on YouTube. Michael, more than likely, Michael and Hayden are going to come for the premiere of it because Michael was a huge Sequester fan. He was a fan of mine when we were the long game online. He totally fangirled me on the live game and was super excited to hear about Live to Give before going into Sequester. And Hayden's like, let me know the date, let me know the time, we'll come up. And I'm like, yeah, don't make promises. Michael might be booked for a little bit. Yeah. So, I would love to get together. But the fact that McCrae was part of production for Live to Give, and he worked with Michael in the escape room.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So McRae, which is a big part of why Janelle and McRae also had Hayden there for Hayden and Jake Sparks and Lindsay for premiere night. So it's gonna be fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. If I go up there, I don't know. It's fucking cold in Minnesota in November. I told them if they did it in October, I'd come for sure. I do not own enough flannel. I do not own enough plaid, and I do not own enough winter clothes to go to Minnesota in November.
Rory, I was not on the online version. I was the Sequester bot on the online version. I didn't.
Yes. And coincidentally, Andrew, why don't you let us know your connection to one of Michael's best friends?
So the funny story on that is Jake, one of the ones that was on the premiere. I think I said this on the premiere episode when we did the recap there. I was on a cruise ship. Me and my wife were cruising, and Jake was one of the entertainment directors, and he was watching. We went to the movie theater, and he was in the ticket box, watching an episode of Sequester that I was the voice of. And I said, "Hey, does that sound familiar to you?" And that's how the connection came to be there.
So that's the Jake I was just referring to. That's one of Michael's best friends. And Andrew met him in season 2, right? Of the online version?
I couldn't tell you which season it was.
Whichever season
it was. No, because it was probably 5 years ago. So it would have been after All Stars.
Okay.
Because it would have been probably the one right after, because that was the last one I did.
Season 6, yeah. So anyway, that is the Sequester connection to Big Brother, aside from Audrey, obviously. And yeah.
I'll make one more comment about Michael, and then I'll be probably pretty much done for the night too. But I think he's the best Orger to play a reality TV game.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
The best Orger that has any connection to the online reality game world, or even a live reality game. I think he's the best one. And week 1 we were nervous, right? Like we were like, oh, here we go, it's another org flop. But I think he's the best one to translate the game from online and live to a real in game of anyone that's attempted it before. So hats off to that. And I hope that other orgers that are watching take note of what he did, because he played it to a T. And there's no doubt in my mind that we will see Michael in another season of Big Brother in the future. There's no doubt in my mind of that.
He did awesome preparation for it, because he knew that Audrey came in too hard, too fast. He knew that. He played Sequester, the mini version. He played 3 or 4, maybe 5 long orgs,
I played Trivia Towers with him.
Exactly. And then he also played 2 live reality games for him. One was Big Brother and one was Survivor, to prepare for that, which is really a unique way to do it, because you cannot go in there hard and fast and heavy. Did anyone ever hear Michael mention any other like CBS shows, competitions? I think they all talked about the challenge a little bit, but Michael's a super fan of the CBS shows across the board. And he took what he learned from the live game and drew it out to make it in the long game. He never once mentioned that he was an orger or online reality games or live reality games. Nothing. He never mentioned it.
That's good. We need more legitimate super fans who are able to play this game, and there's a definite difference between super fan and super fan who's capable of playing these games. Yes. Right? I want to be very clear. There's a reason that I have not been cast as Big Brother, but I think he did very, very well for himself. And Andrew, I don't think it's even close in terms of other orgers who have played Big Brother. I would throw Survivor in the mix as well. I don't know if Adam is an orger from Survivor Millennials versus Gen X, but I think
100%. He was playing on AIM. I played against Adam when he was 12 years old back in AOL days on AIM.
And even though Michael didn't win, I think that his run was still more impressive than Adams, who won in Survivor Millennials versus Gen X. But I don't know.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Overall, though, like to answer my own question, I think this is probably my favorite modern Big Brother season. Now that we're like talking it through, and I like go ahead, roll your eyes at the BB Can comparison, but like the fluidity of this season, like. We didn't know like who was going to win HOH. The target was constantly shifting, and it was a really tight race, like up until the very end of the season. And we Big Brother US is so known for these like massive alliances that just like lock any like entertainment or strategy or fun, like anything for the whole season, right? Like it just like sucks up the air like in like week 2 or 3. We didn't get that at all this season, and that's even with somebody who won like 99 million competitions, right? Like it easily could have been that way if everybody just kind of like flocked to Michael for protection, right? It very easily could have happened that way. But so I appreciate the fluidity of the season, and that's what is like exciting to me as a fan, is coming on the show and going through the scenarios with Jackie and Andrew and Allison and you, Kim, and Dom. Just like, what if this person does this? Okay, well, what happens if Taylor wins veto here? Oh no, what happens if Alyssa votes this person out, right? Turner easily could have won tonight if he had voted out Taylor instead of Alyssa when they were on the block together. Like, those are the things I love to talk about, and there were plenty of like what if scenarios throughout the whole season that made it just a really entertaining ride. I also want to talk about real quick. I want to talk about where I think Taylor ranks as a winner amongst all the Big Brother US and Big Brother Canada winners. Of course, I think she is an amazing. Yes, Kim?
Oh no, I'm giving her a 1.
1 out of all the winners.
Out of all the winners of all time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, out of all the winners of all time? No, but I'd put her top 5. I would definitely make her top 5 between BB US and BB Canada.
Who's your 5? Who's your 5? Give me your 5.
Who's my 5?
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Dan Giesling is right up there. Kevin Jacobs is right up there. I think he was a brilliant strategist. I would actually put anything that involved a big alliance, I kind of have gotten rid of, because if you've got that many, that's why I wouldn't put Xavier as a top tier winner, because he had 6 people with an intent and a goal that got him to that 6. Taylor didn't have any of that. So yeah, definitely.
You're missing a name.
If you're going to say Will Kirby, I do not put Will Kirby in my top 5. In my top 10, yes, but in my top 5, no, because he won based on charisma. He didn't have a strategy. He didn't win comps, but he won 100% on social and on charisma. And I don't.
So where's Derek?
Huh?
Where's Derek?
Derek is, I would put him at about 6 or 7.
Above Will Kirby. Wow. Okay.
I would, because he came into it with a strategy, which Will did not. And
it was the first real season. Like, how would you have a
I love my strategy. Will had no strategy.
Yeah, that's saying like the Wright brothers plane wasn't that impressive. Well, it was like day one.
Exactly. No, I think
that's why we say Dr. Will invented the wheel. Dan Giesling reinvented it, but someone had to invent the wheel in the first place, and that's still a pretty big accomplishment.
Dr. Will may have invented the wheel, but Dan Giesling drove the bus.
But then he does it almost again in All Stars. I don't agree with you one bit.
No, I put him in a top 10, but I do not put him in a top 5.
So what you're saying is, hey, if you don't like charisma, here's Derek Lavaseur. He's your cup of tea.
He's not charisma, but he was strategically sound. And how much do you have to ooze strategy to get Cody to take you to the final two, knowing you're going to kick his ass? Right?
Will Kirby looks at the. Never mind, I'm not having this conversation.
We can have a whole show about this.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Yeah, that'll have to be its own deep dive. Dr. Will versus
we will do
Dan
an off-season show.
We will do
an off-season
I cannot
show.
believe you're saying this right now. Like, I am on the floor. He's my number one of all time, right? Like.
See, I think he's
Chilltown is my
entertaining.
number one alliance of all time. Like.
He was very entertaining. Do not get me wrong. June, by the way, is my 5th. June.
And
so
I'm okay with that. But yeah, the stuff you're giving Will is not anything that's his own fault. The man.
I mean, the way you're explaining Will's, that's a lot like me, like Taylor to me. And that's kind of like what I think of Taylor as a winner, is somebody who was not very strategic. Let's be real. Like, Brittany made a really good point tonight in the jury roundtable that like her HOH was a strategic fumble that should have been like
100%.
super easy. But she is like, if we had to like pour a glass of like social, strategic, physical, she would be like all social, I think. And that's why like all of us were just like stars in our eyes like during her final speech tonight.
Wait,
And
she won two HOHs and a pivotal POV.
But Will's strategy was not to win.
Will's ancient history at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, but
I'll head over to Laser Away and I'll support him over there, but I'm not going to support him as a top tier winner when
You're right. He's the top tier winner. He's not a top tier winner. He is the top tier winner.
All right.
Andrew.
Let me finish my thought. Taylor, like when I rank like Big Brother winners, I think about like how much control did they have over the game, whether that be through comp wins, whether that be through strategy. And I don't really see much of any point where Taylor was too in control of how things shaked out. I'm sorry if that's like offensive. I don't like that's not on like a personal level. She is a wonderful person, and I'm like 100% glad she won tonight. But she was never the one to like steer the ship. She was just always the one that looked good, no matter how it went down. And was able to navigate that. And like I think that she navigated it beautifully with grace, like all of that stuff. But like she was not like a Dan who like was like picking up the chess pieces and moving them each week. You know what I mean? It was a very reactive game, and reacting in a very mature, appropriate way, with grace and with beauty that ultimately made people feel good enough to vote for her in the end to win, is how I think.
Did she ever have the opportunity to steer the ship?
Sure she did.
She did, and that was not her best look when she did.
Yeah, her first HOH.
Her first HOH she did, but she had HOH.
It wasn't good.
The first one.
Yeah, exactly. So with all that being said, I have Taylor ranked 23 out of 32 Big Brother US and Big Brother Canada winners. I can read the whole list if you want, but I have her right. I have her right.
That's going to create another 3-hour conversation. We don't have time for it, Tyler. Let's save it for another.
I have her. Well, I have her right behind Xavier, and the reason that I think Xavier is a better winner than Taylor is he had a lot more protection around him, but I think that he had a lot more agency within that protection around him to kind of steer the ship where he needed to. Also, Alyssa was the last one out of like the cookouts, people outside of the group. So he was the last one to have like his like player left in the game before it was like you're eating your own. Taylor like really struggled. Taylor really struggled to have any like solid ally throughout the whole season. And is that her fault? No, but does that make her like the best winner ever? I don't think
and yet won 8-1.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like that just goes to show that like none of this shit matters unless people feel good about you in the end. And it makes them feel good about themselves voting for you in the end. Kyle, I'm talking about you.
So I'll even say, like, to Tyler's point there, you can't take a final vote count into fairness or favor because you've had bitter juries, there's inconsistency in jury pools to be able to say a unanimous win is better than even an 8-1 or a 5-4 win, because some of those unanimous wins were bitter wins, right? They weren't true wins. So you can't judge a final vote count on that because there's no true consistent jury.
So that's where we should make an off-season podcast.
I don't think my blood pressure can handle it.
I want to throw my hat in the ring. I think that would be a fun.
I will be the sword. I will be the sword. He will be the shield.
Yes, I love it.
Oh hell no! I'll be the machine gun coming at your sword. Let's go.
All I know is it ultimately, what I saw is I was ready to jump shark this season for the first time ever. And it's like, okay. And just the trajectory and the curvature of the season made it exciting. And I enjoyed not knowing week to week, even being a feeder, what was happening. And by the way, I was not shocked looking you when you were saying that to Tyler. It was Matthew Henning over here going, basically saying the moment when Kim and I agree, hell has frozen over, which is so very true.
But screw you too, Matt Henning.
One last thing I need to brag about before we
of course.
end the show is
I've been waiting for this all day.
I had the final two. The
You
final
had the
Final
three.
three.
Yeah. And then if only Brittany went before Alyssa, I would have had all four.
And honestly, I was kind of loving. I would have. The one reason I was like Monty win for the first pick of our draft to be the winner would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yep. So there we go. Any last thoughts about the season before we?
We for sure have a new season. So at one point this season, I wasn't 100% sure. So that's exciting. I've heard rumors with the 25th we might see some returnings again, but it's way too early to give Allison Grunder any form of credit for that. I will say really quickly, non-Big Brother news, but reality news. If you're not watching the Real World documentary, watch it. 2, there's also, for those of you that don't know, there's a book coming out for the history of the challenge in October, and it is on pre-sale on Amazon right now. And I'm super excited about that too.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do a show like recapping like that documentary. I have so many thoughts already, and it's only been the first part, so I love it. I'm very excited to talk about that.
Final thoughts from me. Please cast some older players. But you need Rennie and Jerry in there, like Andrew and I, to literally butt heads, because younger people are all worried about, oh my God, are they going to like me? What about my influencer? Me being an influencer. And I'm like, fuck that. Let's go, baby. And so that's the one thing I would love to see them cast more over 50. Okay.
Hey, don't put me back in that category.
Well, I could kick your ass anyway right now, but that's beside the point, Andrew. I agree. I think more body types.
More body types, smart ages.
Never heard anybody mock Brittany about her body type. And she was the one who stood out initially. For the guys, they don't give a shit. Beer belly, dad bod, who cares? So I would love to see the same perception of the women that people seem to have of the men.
Let's have a dad bod versus non-dad bod season. I'm down for that. Let's go.
And the last thing I'll say, please like and subscribe right here at My Weekly Meltdown. Let's get the viewership up coming into season 25. Please like and subscribe to Live to Give Minnesota on YouTube. Please. because I'm playing for an amazing charity. I'm playing for Wounded Warriors Project, and that means a lot to me as a veteran. Okay, so please subscribe to it. Be sure and watch it. Be sure and cheer for me, even if you do hate me a little bit during the season. But remember, you know me, so they didn't.
I just hope you're not too charismatic.
Jackie, any last thoughts about the season?
This has been great. This is my first time not only just watching the whole show like as it came out weekly, like was that 3 episodes a week, but also watching the live feeds. So this was absolutely awesome. I'm now a live feed junkie. I love the tea and the information that I found from this season. Again, this 2 seasons in a row. We got Chocolate Final 2. Now we just need, I agree with Kim. Let's have more over 50s. Let's have more grown-ups on the show instead of us, having more social media influencers who are barely new to the world. Like us, let's get like real people. I feel like this season actually had enough real adults. I'm new to Big Brother in general, but I don't remember seeing as many married people in previous seasons. There were a lot of like women and people who are already coupled up. So it's like, no, we're not here for a showman. I'm really here to like mow the lawn with y'all. Like I'm really here to play. I got my boo at home. As opposed to with like Survivor, you have a lot of like married people with like kids who are in college. I'm trying to, pay for my grandmother's, surgery, and then also for my kids' college. But this was a great experience seeing this season where there's so many more adults who are living adult lives, not just my previous perception, I guess, of Big Brother from like a long time ago. So like pre-season 20, my perception is that it's all like hot people that come and live in a house and then they fight for some money and get dirty and sloppy here and there. But this season felt like a competitive season. Last season also, I think it probably started at like season 20 for me. Felt like competitive seasons. Felt like I'm a real person. I'm here to actually compete. And then just kind of like translating that over into the Challenge USA, seeing how these people were like actually able to swim, jump, run, all the other things that they were able to do. It feels like Big Brother is building like physical competitors. So this was a great season. Thanks for having me. I can't wait for next year. I'm excited.
And I want to say on that, JB, it was also your first season covering it with us, and you were such a breath of fresh air to have on the show this season. Such a great asset to have and such a good perspective to have. So I do hope you commit to My Weekly Meltdown for 25 too, because you were just great to have this year.
I won't be pregnant next year, so yes.
You can sit there with your baby for next season. Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
Dom, any last thoughts about the season, Dom?
Overall, it's a positive season for me. Like I said, I need to like take a little more time before I rank seasons or rank winners. I have to like let the season ruminate a little more. But overall, like I already listed the modern season, which I greatly enjoyed and appreciated this season much more than.
I agree.
Good perspective.
Andrew
and Helen was pushed.
Helen was pushed.
I think Andrew, I've commented enough, Tyler.
Yeah. I forget if I asked you. You're good.
I don't know that you did, but it was a great season. It's always fun. I wasn't as active on My Weekly Meltdown because I started at a new school, but it was a fun season to watch. It was a fun season to follow. I'm always sad when Big Brother goes, but I'm also like, yes, I get a break, right? So it's Big Brother's a chore. So it was a very good season, and I am hoping that production takes notes of what went well and what didn't, and we can continue to build on that, because I do feel after this season they at least somewhat are listening.
Yeah, agree.
I would agree with that. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for everybody in the chat, not only tonight but all season long. And we love all the comments. We love like all the interaction that you guys give us. So if you like what you've heard tonight, if you want to like come on the shows, like all that stuff like that, we do have a Patreon. So go to patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown to subscribe for that. We do some Patreon shows. We did a live watch party for the patrons tonight. So I don't know, just like little sprinkles of like fun stuff like that every now and then. For you guys, but thank you guys so much again for all the love and everything. We'll be back on Wednesday to talk about episode 2 of Survivor 43, and then I believe in like 2 weeks we'll be back to talk about the challenge documentary, all that fun stuff. I cannot wait to talk about that.
And if you miss it, JB will spoiler who was voted out, so just don't worry about that. She'll let you know.
Andrew, what is your Cash App? I'm so sorry. I'll send you a Starbucks gift card. I'm so sorry, but it was relevant. So
JB, I already knew.
Good.
Oh
All right.
my God, he was guilting you. Shocker.
You should
Go ahead.
Give him a
Who's
Starbucks gift card.
surprised?
All right. Well, everybody, I hope you guys enjoy a nice dish of blindside butter beans tonight. And everybody have a good rest of your night. Take care. We'll see you next season. Bye-bye.